And they answered. They said, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. The opinion on the identity of Jesus was divided. Some thought he was John the Baptist who was risen from the dead. You know, Herod had that view. You can read that in Matthew chapter 14. Some thought that he was Elijah, who was seen to be the forerunner of the Messiah. Maybe he's Elijah. Others thought he was Jeremiah, who was the first of the so-called latter prophets in the Hebrew canon. In our Bibles, we have Isaiah first in the prophetic books, but in the Hebrew Bible, Jeremiah was first. So the jury was out, so to speak, on who's this Jesus? What's he all about? Much like today. We live in a day and age where people say, well, who is Jesus to you? As if, as individuals, we actually corner the market on who Jesus is. So if I say, well, Jesus is a fairy in a pink tutu, then that makes Jesus that. It's amazing the way the world works today, where we can all kind of fabricate our own idea of who Jesus is. But it's amazing if you actually look at what Jesus says of himself. I don't know how often people say, Daniel, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Jesus. I always say the same thing. I say, well, which God don't you believe in? Which Jesus don't you believe in? And it's amazing if you actually ask that question to somebody. It's amazing the answers that they give you. Say, I don't believe in the God who's, a guy with a big white beard, he's angry at the world. I'm like, yeah, I don't believe in that God either. Or I don't believe in the Jesus who hates everybody. I'm like, I don't believe in that Jesus either. So many people have so many misconceptions about who Jesus is because nobody takes the time to actually look at how Jesus spoke of himself, how people spoke about Jesus in the Scriptures. So it ultimately becomes revisionist history there, all across the line. I want Jesus to be this. So that's my truth about Jesus. As if we can rewrite history. As if 2,000 years after the fact, we can tell people who Jesus actually was, without giving Jesus the opportunity to speak. So the jury was out. In verse 15, Jesus says, but who do you say that I am? Jesus takes the question and he places it right at his disciples' doorstep. It's the same question that Jesus places at all of our doorsteps. Who do you say that Jesus is? And Simon Peter replies, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Wow. Simon Peter here is serving as a spokesperson for all 12. And he says simply, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. It's a powerful statement. It's a statement that doesn't mean a lot to us today because we're not thinking about the idea of Christos in the Greek or Mashiach, which is where it comes from in the Hebrew. That's not a concept that lives in American culture all that much. It's the picture of somebody who is anointed, somebody who is given a specific purpose by God. Peter says very simply, you are the Christ. You're God's anointed. You are the Son of the living God. And the reality is all church begins and ends with that. Without this confession, there is no such thing as church. There is no such thing as a called out assembly. People always say, oh, the gospel. What's the gospel? The gospel is 3 words. Jesus is Lord. Now again, I say that. For a lot of us, you're like, what is Lord? What is that? Because we don't have lords and dukes in our culture, do we? Some of you are here from England. You guys know a little different. It has a little different slant. But for us in America, in the democratic society, we don't know about kings. We don't know about lords. The idea of lordship is the idea of one who has sovereign authority. And the church is founded on, it has all of its power on the simple statement that Jesus is Lord. He says, you are the Christ. You are the Messiah. You are the anointed one, the Son of the living God. And really all church hinges on that. Right there. All Christianity hinges on this one statement.